We don't. We did this before they even existed. We did this before they depigmented themselves out of us. Why do we feel we need their approval for what we need to do as a community? As it relates to what's going on, I go back to the early days of the hip-hop in New York City, in the Bronx. I remember that. I remember what was happening in the music, because we have to look at what was happening as it relates to Sam Cooke. See, we need to know our history. Like I tell my son who likes to spit and do rap, you need to know history. You need to listen to the classics. You need to listen to the doo-wop. You need to listen to the jazz to understand what it was. It's all connected. Hip-hop came out of doo-wop. The brothers that used to get the T-Bird and sit up underneath the lamp at night and harmonize. Right. That's where hip-hop came out of. The doo-wop sound, the harmony that we made as people. That created the Motown sound. That created Watt Stax music. That brought the Isaac Hayes and all of the different musicians together.
And that jazz sound, like Bird.
That's it.
All those greats.
Yes.
James Brown.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. And that sound came out of earlier music, that deals with bebop. Bebop came out of rhythm and blues. Rhythm and blues came out of blues. Blues came out of the spiritual sung on the plantations. And the spiritual on the plantations was what we brought here when we were enslaved against our will. But they saw what we were doing back then. They saw the African Bombadas. They saw the Gil Scott-Herons. They saw Sam Cooke, who was the first brother, African American, to own his own record label. Pretty soon we found him dead, shot 30 times, and we still don't understand how that brother died. His first recording artist on his label was Muhammad Ali, who did a whole album of poetry, rap, and it was called The Greatest.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yes, man, check the history.
What year was that?
You're dealing with like the early 60s. He had his own record label, and Muhammad Ali was the first person on his record label, Sam Cooke.
Because I know him and Sam Cooke were tight. He always He always did a shout out to Sam Cooke.
Absolutely.
After his fights.
Absolutely. And in his first fight, Sam Cooke and Malcolm X were together with him. That's another story that's not told. Sam Cooke was impacted by Malcolm, because Malcolm was in Muhammad Ali's camp at this time. If you remember when he was when he had left the nation for that little bit of time, he and his wife went down and stayed with Muhammad Ali down in his training camp. Sam Cooke was down there too. This is a history that is not talked about, that you can understand why all of these things that are going on. I have nothing but respect for our young people and what they're doing. My thing is, we as adults did not stand strong and on our square to bring our young people through this process. I know I was the young person that had to fend for himself on the streets of New York. I know what happened. We should have stayed, and this is why I try to, with our young people, I say, look, I ain't mad at you. No matter what I hear, I know that you are moving through a process because they are attempting to destroy the community, so they're using you. They are buying you out. But we as adults got to buy them back. I'm ready to compete with anybody for our young people's minds. And what we have to do is change the paradigm of how we're interacting with them. Deal with them from a heartfelt place so that they can understand. You see, because whether you realize it or not, it's you they're shooting in the streets. You young brothers, they're the ones that are being shot. And so with this entertainment and with this music, maybe I don't like what I hear. Maybe I don't like some of the words that I hear. Maybe I don't like the direction. But I think they're doing a pretty good job, considering that we as men, the adult men, did not cover them when we should have covered them, and protected them when we should have protected them, and brought them under. So when we see an artist acting in a most inappropriate way, well, where is the father in this? Where is that male mentor that can be there? Back in the Motown days, you had people that didn't let you go out after 12 o'clock. They didn't let you go to parties. Right. They were not yesing you. They would tell, no, you have a show tomorrow. You know, the Motown sound. You better go to bed. Right. So I'm concerned, but I know that's going to turn around, because that can only have but so much life.
I kind of feel like it's no value. People are not valuing life. How do you turn that around and teach our young people to value life? How do we teach them to value life? And not just young people, just people in general.
I think because you see, what you're speaking of is worldwide.
Right.
There's no respect for life anywhere.
Anywhere, right.
As Bob Marley said, war. War in the East, war in the West, war in the North. Look around the world. Everybody's at war. And guess what? They are over war. All about religion. Everybody fighting over God. And if God, the very creator of life, is at war, what are we telling our children?
Right.
We're telling them, talk it out. They ain't talking it out in Iraq. They ain't talking it out in Afghanistan. They're not talking it out in the Middle East. They're not talking out anywhere. So why are we telling our young people to talk it out? We told the South Africans in Azania, constructive engagement. They didn't do no constructive engagement in Vietnam. They didn't do no constructive engagement in Haiti.
Right.
So now all of a sudden you want to talk things out because you don't want the people to come after you. And so what we have to do is we have to demonstrate the value of life by living life, by enjoying life, and by letting them know how sacred it is. We have to start very young. We have to start in our preschools now and in our kindergartens. And we have to include all of our people in this process. I'd like to think that we can help everybody, but the bottom line is, I got good news and bad news. Dr. King was right. We are going to get to the promised land. The bad news is, a lot of us ain't going to make it. Right? Because if your mind is in a place where it doesn't be, blessings on you, but we need strong people now. We need spiritual warriors, physical, people who can think this out and develop a process by which we can get to the point. But to our young people, man, I got nothing but love and respect for them. And I would hope that in our conversations with them, before we would put down what they do, let's give them something that can pick themselves up.
Right.
What's up, everybody? It's your man HRap coming at you live and direct. As usual, I have a special guest, one of my favorite MCs. Like I said, I'm going to use his term, a blue-collar MC. I call him a super MC. He goes by the name of Guilty Simpson. Thanks for being on the show. Welcome aboard. What's up, Gil?
Not much, man. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you having me, you know what I'm saying, on your platform. Is definitely showing gratitude for that. You know what I'm saying? You know, so looking forward to our chat. Let's get it.
Oh, man, let's get it then, man. As I stated, I'm a big fan of yours. Introduce, for the people who not underground hip hop like me and you, introduce yourself, and then we'll get everything cracking.
And my name is Guilty Simpson, Detroit MC. I've been putting it down in Detroit, since the '90s. I'm an old head in the game. I'm an underground MC, so it takes a little bit more effort to kind of track my movements and what I've been doing, so it's not mainstream at all. But I've definitely been putting it down for Detroit and the Midwest, for the better part of, at least on the worldwide tip, for the past, 12 or 13 years. But I've been in it real solid, even before that, just living the hip hop culture,
Man, again, thanks for being on the show. Been a big fan since the word go. Gil, how, Detroit hip hop got red hot at one point and then it kind of like died out. What happened? Where was the disconnect?
I think it died. I think it dies out because, especially if you trend and wave chasing, the trends and the waves change so frequently. So if you kind of have your ear to the industry, so to speak, and you kind of following what the people support or what the people rock with, if you tend to just base that on what you create, you kind of like blowing in the wind, because you know what I'm saying, one thing can shift. You know what I mean? You could be doing auto-tune and rocking jerseys, and Jay-Z can come say auto-tune is dead and we wear button-downs now. It shifts the culture. So if you try kind of not true to the foundation of hip-hop, which I found, which is my foundation, I feel like my form of hip-hop never plays out. We kind of weather the storm, even though we take financial hits to preserve the form that we do, you know what I'm saying, which isn't really mainstream, which isn't, following by industry standards. So I think the people that tend to follow industry standards, they have to change with the culture. The culture changes all the time. The mainstream culture, at least, you know what I'm saying? So I stay true to my guns and what I do. And luckily, in my opinion, I feel like that's never really played out.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with you, man. I'm a few years older than you, and you're right. I mean, at first it was Curtis, and then it was Furious Five, then it's Fat Boys Run DMC, LL, so forth and so on. And it hasn't changed. Now, like you said, when you talking about radio play, definitely that changes. That goes through ebbs and flows. You get gangster, you get super jiggy, you get thug, you get drug culture, and so forth and so on. But I definitely agree with you. If you stay true to who you are, you won't ever fall off. You know, like you said, it might be a financial ebb and flow, but you as an MC or you as a consumer should never fall off. I got my man DJ Mad Knox.
Right.
He does a hip hop show before mine every Tuesday on the network. He plays our music, because I call it our music, because I personally, let me bounce this off you. I think people like me and you and others who true to the culture should come up with another terminology for what we do versus what the mainstream do. You know, like you got R&B and you got pop, and you got rock, and you got soft rock or hard rock. I think we need to come up with a new title for what we do, because it's a damn shame that everybody who listening right now don't know who you are. You one of the dopest cats in the industry, and to be overlooked is insane. What do you think? How can we create a platform to help you?
Well, I mean, not even trying to be funny, man. You know, for the people that's gonna support me, it's gonna take a little bit more effort than to follow your average mainstream rapper. I mean, you know, you have the radio almost force feeding these guys to you. I mean, there's songs on the radio that I don't like, and I still manage to know all the words to it. Right. You know what I mean? So I think the biggest thing is, you know what I'm saying? I hate to put the onus on the listeners and the fans, but I mean, I just feel like, you know, since they have everything kind of at the click of their finger, I think sometimes they're content with being spoon-fed what's hot and, you know, what's not. So, I mean, I would like to think that my listeners and my fans take a little bit more pride in taking a little bit more effort to obtain these songs, these different, unique songs, you know, that's not necessarily right in your face. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, even me, before, you know, pre-internet, I'm an older dude, so pre-internet, I used to take pride in going to the record store and picking up a product and reading the credits, you know what I mean, and reading the notes and doing that type of research to make me a little bit more acquainted with a project, you know what I mean, than the average listener. And I think that's the same mind state that these fans these days would need to take to be able to follow me, because I'm not going to front. It's going to take effort because I don't have this big major machine behind me that's promoting my music when I'm not doing it, so to speak. So, I mean, you know, that's why I really appreciate the fans that do rock with it, because, you know, they don't have to. You know what I'm saying? It's like a rapper. Everywhere you look at an MC or a producer or somebody that's participating in the culture, whether it be the right or wrong way, it's still an artist for somebody to choose from and select who they want to support. So, you know, I'm just thankful, fam. You know what I'm saying? And for anybody that want to support me, man, you know, you just gonna have to put forth that, you know, a little bit more effort. And when I say effort, I don't even really think that's effort, man. You just gotta know who you like and stick to your guns, and just understand that everybody's not gonna like what you like, but that's what makes you a unique individual. And I would like to feel like that's what makes me a unique MC. So I'm okay with, you know, where I'm at with it, and I do feel like I'm underrated and, you know, slept on in a lot of ways, but I do acknowledge that some people acknowledge the skill and what I have. And, you know, I'm going to just start with them and stay true to them in the sound that we both like, and just kind of grow up from there. I'm not really reaching and breaking my neck to acquire new fans that might change in 3 months and tell me that sound that I'm doing is played out and I need to do something else, you know?
Right. I can feel that, man, because you really don't. There's nobody gonna fair weather fans. I mean, and then even with my listeners, I don't want people to just listen because they want me to say what they're saying on TV. you saying what they saying on TV, then ain't no point in me saying what I'm saying. So I feel you on that. But I do.
Exactly.